Hey friends, hope you're all doing well. We're doing okay too, just really tired since we've been working non-stop. We wanted to answer a question many of you ask: how does our publishing process work? Most of our audiobooks are first posted on Patreon as paid content. They stay behind a paywall for a few months. After that, they become free to access on Patreon forever. Then, a few weeks later, we upload them to other platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, X. Lately, our community hasn't been growing much, and we could really use your help. Please share our site in your Facebook groups, Discord servers, Reddit threads, Twitter, X, or with any friends who might be interested. Every little bit helps and we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for being with us and supporting what we do. Denzo referred to Yuaya as secretary agent, a term only stubbornly used by the old patriarch of the Sarutobi clan, who was now confined by his own family to avoid losing their shares if Yuaya took offense. Most families in Hidden Leaf Village now called Yuaya agent in jest, but some, like Denzo, took it seriously. Yuaya narrowed his eyes, then spread his hands with a smile. I'm afraid there's nothing left to divide. It's all been allocated. Denzo's face twisted momentarily. He took a deep breath and said softly, why say something so easily disproven? The dividends given to other families are only a small part. Why deceive me? Yuaya smiled, realizing Denzo understood the situation. He then changed his demeanor. You're the hero of Hidden Leaf Village, let's not discuss this further. Yuaya handed Denzo a scroll. These are the lists of companies in Hidden Leaf Village. Please, hero, choose one. Denzo was surprised. I can choose one? Yuaya nodded, inviting him to proceed. Denzo, suspicious but intrigued, found reassurance when he saw that hospitals and banks were not among the options. Choosing those would have indicated a trap. He asked, what does agency mean? Yuaya explained, Mr. Denzo, you can choose any company here. For 1 year, it will belong to the Shimura clan. After a year, your clan can keep the profits. However, during this period, I'll withdraw all investments from that company, and personnel will be reassigned. Recruitment and operations are your responsibility. Denzo understood this was a test of his ability to manage a business, implying that if he couldn't manage one company, he shouldn't manage the village. Suspicious, Denzo asked, will you target our company this year? Yuaya, with a darkened expression, retorted, you've set obstacles for me, but you don't allow me to challenge you? Why should you be exempt from competition? Denzo wasn't angered. Instead, he felt relief at Yuaya's straightforwardness. He realized this was about giving him a challenging opportunity rather than a trap. The key was whether to accept the terms. After contemplation, Denzo agreed, I'll accept, but only if you conduct this openly, without deceit. Yuaya interrupted, I won't interfere. It's entirely up to your efforts. Denzo stood and extended his hand, it's a deal. Yuaya chuckled and shook his hand, it's a deal. In early February of the 23rd year of Hidden Leaf Village, the Shimura clan took over the village's beverage manufacturing factory. The next day, after the handover, the factory's director, deputy director, and department leaders were reassigned to a new factory by Yuaya. 2/3 of the workers also left for better wages at the new factory, leaving a third at the beverage factory. Yuaya's new factory, the Hidden Leaf Village Tobacco Manufacturing Factory, was established despite the health risks associated with smoking, driven by its profitability and relieving stress. In the middle of the same month, the third Raikage of Hidden Clouds Village arrived in Hidden Leaf Village with his escort team. Yuaya realized that Sanjudobi Rama's historical dealings were quite normal, as the Raikage's visit lacked the usual military pressure expected. Despite the Raikage's visit being ostensibly about peace, Yuaya aimed to include Hidden Clouds Village in Hidden Leaf Village's business ventures, utilizing the northern pastures of Union Village for livestock, potentially turning it into Hidden Leaf Village's meat supply base. Chapter 101 Burnett the third Raikage and several of his entourage walked through the streets of Hidden Leaf Village with particularly displeased expressions. It wasn't due to any hostility from the villagers towards Hidden Clouds Village, rather, it was the staggering development of Hidden Leaf Village that troubled them. While it wasn't as noticeable in the outer city, upon entering the inner city, the sight of 4 or 5-story buildings made the third Raikage's heart skip a beat. The streets were lined with green bricks, and the villagers of Hidden Leaf Village appeared well-nourished and lively. Such vitality was evident in almost every resident, highlighting the stark difference between Hidden Leaf Village and Hidden Clouds Village. The third Raikage's demeanor was sour as he walked. His intimidating presence kept even the most resentful villagers at bay. However, upon reaching the bustling commercial street, his composure slipped entirely. The thriving business district was a glaring testament to Hidden Leaf Village's prosperity, making Hidden Clouds Village seem a step behind. Eventually, the third Raikage was escorted to the Hokage's office building, which, to his relief, retained its traditional appearance. Senju Dobirama had not allowed Yuya to renovate it, providing a small comfort to the Raikage. Inside the conference room, the third Raikage encountered Senju Dobirama and a young man, Yuya. If the Raikage had decided to attack, Dobirama would have had to defend Yuya with all his might. Yuya, so it's me who's to blame? Fortunately, the third Raikage had no intention of causing trouble. He sat with a stern expression, his guard standing behind him. Senju Dobirama spoke calmly, there's no need to be so tense. Your guards can take a seat too. Boom. The third Raikage slapped the table, startling Yuya. The Raikage's sudden aggression was intimidating, but his words were, enough with the pleasantries. Tell me the specific terms. If they're unreasonable, I won't sign. Senju Dobirama remained expressionless, while Yuya smiled at the Raikage's directness, appreciating his straightforward approach. The third Raikage pressed, tell me. What are the terms? Senju Dobirama closed his eyes, prompting Yuya to hand over a scroll. Upon receiving it, the third Raikage was overwhelmed by the text. He erupted, Hidden Leaf Village has gone too far. So many conditions for our Hidden Cloud Village? Yuya, slightly stunned, cautiously replied, the conditions aren't unreasonable. In fact, they're quite generous. Please, take a closer look. The third Raikage, though initially suspecting Hidden Leaf Village of exploiting the situation, was only posturing, a common negotiation tactic. He signaled a guard to examine the scroll. As the guard read through the terms, he became increasingly astonished. True to Yuya's words, the conditions weren't harsh, they were surprisingly generous. Although Union was required to pay 2 billion taels in compensation, Hidden Leaf Village was willing to accept Union's banknotes, despite their devaluation. Even the public apologies and declarations of non-hostility were mere formalities. The third Raikage and the fourth Raikage had already anticipated these demands. The guard, initially perplexed, recognized the terms from agreements between Hidden Leaf Village, Hidden Mist Village, Hidden Sand Village, and Hidden Stones Village, all of which had led to prosperous relations. Yet, he wondered if genuine cooperation between Hidden Leaf Village and Hidden Clouds Village was feasible after their fierce conflicts. The third Raikage, noting his guard's hesitation, demanded, can we take this back to review? Expecting refusal, he was surprised when Senju Dobirama calmly agreed, of course. The third Raikage was taken aback, puzzled by Dobirama's unexpected generosity. The Raikage, his mind spinning from the unanticipated turn of events, chose to leave. Before departing, he left a box with Senju Dobirama, saying with a mischievous smile, this is my gift to Hidden Leaf Village. Make sure all the families see it. As the Raikage exited, Senju Dobirama and Yuya were left pondering the contents of the mysterious box. Soon after, the leaders of various families were summoned. When they arrived, curious about the meeting's purpose, Senju Dobirama instructed Sarutobi Hiruzen to open the box. The seal remained intact, indicating that neither Dobirama nor Yuya had tampered with it. Inside the box were letters. Sarutobi Hiruzen picked one up, and his face paled as he read. Senju Dobirama, unfazed, addressed the gathered clan leaders, this is a gift from the third Raikage. The seal remains unbroken, so its contents are unknown to me. Sarutobi, please share what you've read. Trembling, Sarutobi Hiruzen read aloud, to the commander of the 3rd Legion of Cloud Hidden Village, I am the captain of the 3rd Detachment of the Sarutobi Division on the Hidden Leaf Village front line, Sarutobi Sacrum. I write to inform you. The letter revealed intelligence being traded to prevent an assault on the Sarutobi clan's position. Yuya closed his eyes, realizing Dobirama had likely known the contents all along. This revelation wasn't to frighten Sarutobi but to teach a lesson to all present. Senju Dobirama, observing the reactions, calmly asked Yuya, what do you think we should do with these letters? Understanding the underlying message, Yuya responded, burn them. Dobirama, slightly surprised but satisfied, nodded. Yuya's decision aligned with his own thoughts, reaffirming his trust in Yuya's judgment. Chapter 102 This is just the beginning. I put maximum time to make this story. No one support my Patreon. I wait for this week only after I drop this story. This issue shouldn't be blown out of proportion. Recognizing the third Raikage's intentions, it was evident that his gesture was not in goodwill. Just as the Raikage assumed the Hokage was plotting against him upon seeing something in Hidden Leaf Village, Senju Dobirama understood that the third Raikage's gift had ulterior motives. In reality, it was a convenient excuse. Unexpectedly, Yuya made the right decision after a brief contemplation. However, Senju Dobirama couldn't openly acknowledge this. He asked sternly, why? Shouldn't those who commit such acts face death? The hearts of the assembled family had skipped a beat. Did Senju Dobirama have the audacity to carry out executions? Those who had faced him on the battlefield were well aware of his resolve. Yuya replied righteously, Hokage-sama, you understand the brutality of the battlefield better than anyone. No one wishes to die. While the actions of this Sarutobi clansman were excessive, they were motivated by a desire to survive. We should consider each situation individually. If his actions caused significant harm, justice should be swift and public. If the damage was minimal, imprisonment and labor in the mines, contributing to Hidden Leaf Village, would suffice. Yuya personally opposed the death penalty, although he acknowledged its necessity for particularly heinous crimes, sometimes even advocating for public executions to deter others. However, in most cases, he believed offenders should be sentenced to hard labor, working 12-hour days, every day of the year, effectively treating them as livestock. This way, they could still contribute to society. In Yuya's previous life, prisoners were paid for their labor. In this world, Yuya saw no reason to compensate criminals. If he had money to spare, he wouldn't waste it on them. Of course, this is just my personal opinion. From Hidden Leaf Village's perspective, the Third Raikage's actions aim to sow discord among Hidden Leaf Village's families and between you, Hokage-sama. If you were to punish everyone here. Yuya paused, and the family heads held their breath, watching Senjutobirama closely. Senjutobirama drummed his fingers on the table. After a moment, he said calmly to Yuya, do as you suggest. You can take these documents or keep them. As for you, leave. I don't want to see you for a while. Uchiha clan leader, meow meow meow. I didn't do anything wrong. Oh, Senjutobirama, that's typical. For the Uchiha, Senjutobirama didn't need a reason to target them. It was expected. Yuya left with the box in hand. Hiruzen Sarutobi stopped him to express his gratitude, and Yuya invited him to witness the box's destruction. Sarutobi hesitated but eventually agreed, especially when Akimaki Tifu and others awkwardly approached, seemingly on behalf of their families, to ensure the box was burned. Yuya laughed it off and invited everyone to watch. As the box was truly set ablaze, the onlookers sighed in relief. Privately, Yuya chuckled, knowing his uncle left this task to him as a means of targeting others. But he had no intention of using it against them. He could eliminate them easily without it. Sarutobi Hiruzen awkwardly thanked Yuya, who replied with a smile, urging Sarutobi to focus on teaching Tsunade and the other young students well. Sarutobi solemnly promised to do his best. The rest of February passed uneventfully, and Yuya returned to his routine busyness. Regarding the Shimura clan, Yuya kept his word and didn't interfere with them. But opening a factory wasn't as simple as it seemed. Yuya had removed all the leadership, leaving only 1/3 of the frontline employees. The Shimura clan needed to quickly establish a management team to take over operations. Otherwise, the remaining workers, familiar with only parts of the assembly line, couldn't manage the entire process. Their first priority was to recruit both workers and managers. Yuya honored his promise by leaving the beverage factory's cash reserves untouched, but Shimura Denzo struggled to manage without leadership. Initially, salaries were paid in exchange for notes, requiring in-person exchanges at other factories. Could Denzo Shimura handle the challenge? Unlikely. His limited management skills were evident in his attempts to turn the root organization into a pyramid scheme targeting children. Brainwashing, the lowest form of manipulation, deprived individuals of independent thought, diminishing their value. Yuya preferred to motivate with incentives. He believed that hard work should lead to a good life. In Hidden Leaf Village's current era, a decent life was attainable with effort, unlike past times of unending toil. Under these conditions, Denzo's only option for recruitment was to poach workers. However, Hidden Leaf Village faced a labor shortage, even after the ninja army's return. Filling vacancies at the beverage factory was a priority before, but now Denzo needed to recruit independently. Recruitment wasn't as simple as posting an advertisement. Hidden Leaf Village's population, including refugees, was just over 800,000. Finding sufficient workers was challenging. Denzo's first obstacle was recruiting personnel. While management roles could be filled from within the Shimura clan, frontline workers were scarce. With no progress in February, Denzo resorted to raising salaries. The existing workers protested, demanding raises as well. They threatened to quit if ignored, forcing Denzo to comply. Internally, he cursed their selfishness. Hiring at higher wages displeased other factories, disrupting market conditions. Denzo, focused on getting the factory operational, dismissed their concerns. However, the new hires lacked experience with the factory's equipment. Frustrated, Denzo asked existing workers to teach them, but many were unfamiliar with other sections. Denzo eventually spent heavily on training. By the end of February, millions had been spent on salaries, yet the factory remained inactive. In March, management chaos ensued. Simple issues, like bathroom breaks, became contentious. Previously, regulations governed such matters, But Denzo's reluctance to enforce rules led to problems. Some employees abused leniency, spending work hours in the restroom. Frustrations boiled over, sparking conflicts. Under Yuya's military-style management, discipline had been strict but effective. Denzo, lacking such structure, faced frequent disruptions. Despite his anger, Denzo refrained from harsh measures, as he depended on the workers. By March's end, absenteeism was rampant, and the workforce dwindled, slowing production. Payday in March brought further discontent, as equal pay for unequal work prompted resignations. Workers, finding better opportunities elsewhere, left Denzo exhausted. But this was just the beginning. April loomed. Chapter 103 Tsukumo Hatake. In April, the situation grew even more intense. Denzo, determined to emulate Yuya's strict management style, struggled to grasp the subtleties of Yuya's methods. While Yuya maintained strict control, he also provided excellent benefits to his workers. Every month, employees received candies, snacks, canned goods, and drinks to take home. Since the factories were under Yuya's management on behalf of Hokage and Hidden Leaf Village, it made sense to utilize excess production capacity to offer these perks. Everyone understood the concept of balancing discipline with rewards, but Denzo didn't. Frustrated by the demands of his workers, who now expected similar benefits, Denzo was pushed to the brink. In mid-April, news broke that Hidden Clouds Village had announced a cooperation agreement with Hidden Leaf Village. That same year, the third Raikage publicly apologized to Hidden Leaf Village and agreed to pay 2 billion taels in compensation. Initially uncertain, the third Raikage, after extensive discussions and inspections, finally decided to accept Yuya's terms and issued a public apology. Yuya's reputation soared in Hidden Leaf Village. Denzo, realizing the importance of worker benefits, reluctantly agreed to provide them. Meanwhile, in Yuya's barbecue restaurant, Tsunade absent-mindedly stirred her drink. Jiraiya and Orochimaru exchanged glances before Jiraiya asked, "What's on your mind?" Tsunade, startled, replied with a huff, "None of your business." She was preoccupied with personal matters. Her mother had become pregnant late last year, and while Tsunade was happy, she couldn't shake off what she'd overheard about her mother and Yuya. Her mother was now several months pregnant, due in 3 to 4 months, and Tsunade couldn't help but recall her mother's words about her and Yuya. "Wow, your face is so red. Are you really okay?" Jiraiya reached out to touch Tsunade's forehead, but she grabbed his hand and squeezed it hard. "Ouch!" Jiraiya's scream echoed through the restaurant. "What happened?" Saratobi Hiruzen, arriving with plates of meat, witnessed the scene. "Tsunade, girls should be gentler," he admonished, exasperated. Tsunade released Jiraiya's hand, who, unfazed, focused on the grilled meat. Saratobi Hiruzen joined them, chatting as they ate. Tsunade casually asked about Yuya, and when she heard he had spent days in the Hokage's office negotiating with Hidden Clouds Village, a rumor, he was simply too lazy to go home, Jiraiya praised Yuya, while Tsunade felt a pang of sympathy. As they discussed their training progress, the conversation shifted to their desire for powerful summoned creatures. Saratobi Hiruzen's expression changed from delighted to pain when it came time to pay the bill, over 300,000 taels for more than 70 plates of meat. Dejected, Saratobi Hiruzen walked with his students when they encountered another group led by Mitoka Doyon. "Hey, Hiruzen." Mitoka Doyon greeted, approaching with 3 children. "Kato-yan?" Saratobi Hiruzen shook hands with him. Mitoka Doyon introduced his students, focusing on a white-haired boy named Tsukumo Hatake, praised for his talent and teleportation skills. Saratobi Hiruzen, unfazed, introduced his own students, highlighting Orochimaru. The 2 adults engaged in friendly banter, each boasting about their disciples. Meanwhile, Tsukumo Hatake approached Orochimaru, extending a hand. "Hello, I'm Tsukumo Hatake." Orochimaru reciprocated, sensing a future rivalry between them. Their interaction was brief but hinted at inevitable competition. Amid the laughter, Mitoka Doyon invited Saratobi Hiruzen to join them for barbecue. Saratobi Hiruzen declined, warning about the cost. Mitoka Doyon, puzzled, remarked that a meal typically cost 30,000 to 40,000 taels. Realizing Saratobi Hiruzen's predicament, he taunted him for being stingy, especially given the Saratobi clan's wealth, before departing with his students. Saratobi Hiruzen seethed, vowing that one day, Orochimaru would surpass Tsukumo Hatake. Chapter 104. By the time May arrived, Denzo was already spitting blood. He had discovered another harsh reality: his factory could no longer sell goods. Even though production capacity hadn't increased, tens of thousands of bottles of drinks were still being produced every month. When Yuya was in charge, the factory typically sold several 100,000 bottles a month. Occasionally, with employees working hard for overtime pay, sales even reached 1 million bottles. But now, production had dwindled to just tens of thousands of bottles. It was only then that Denzo realized that producing drinks didn't automatically mean someone would come and buy them. When Yuya left, he had directed his original customers to buy drinks produced in Hidden Mist Village. Although the price from Hidden Mist Village was a bit higher, the customers could still make up the difference. They were also curious to see what the water in Hidden Mist Village tasted like. But upon trying it, they realized the water tasted no different from Hidden Leaf Villages. As for Denzo, he came to a stark realization: customers had to be negotiated with directly. It wasn't as simple as waving a hand and expecting people to come running to buy everything. This left Denzo in a difficult position. Who would go negotiate with the customers? Certainly not him. He refused to lower himself. Thus, the factory operated throughout May in a strange limbo. The workers were busy all day long without knowing what they were working for. To cut costs, Denzo ordered the ninjas of the Shimura clan to oversee the factory, replacing regular supervisors. The ninjas said nothing openly, but their dissatisfaction was palpable. After all, patrolling for 3 days could earn them 100,000 ryo, with potential bonuses for spotting abnormalities. Compared to that, supervising a factory without pay felt like a waste of time. Of course, they only voiced these complaints privately. Denzo Shimura was set to become the next clan leader, and no one dared to offend him. Still, resentment festered. Fortunately, the ninjas found a way to cope: smoking. As it turned out, it was an effective stress reliever. Thus, the entire month of May passed in fruitless busyness. By June, Denzo had begun to realize the gap between himself and Yuya. But admitting this fact was out of the question. Other clans in Hidden Leaf Village also noticed the Shimura clan's predicament. Putting themselves in Denzo's shoes, many realized they might not have done much better. The Yuya family had built these factories during times of extreme poverty. Meanwhile, Denzo still had hundreds of millions of ryo in cash reserves. Yet, he managed to squander such a favorable starting position. Denzo was determined to turn things around by the end of the year, ensuring the factory could operate normally and generate profits to save face. But then, in June, a group of raw material suppliers came knocking. It was time to pay for the raw materials. Yuya had made agreements with these suppliers to defer payment until mid-year, allowing the factories to stabilize and generate income before settling debts. Denzo's mouth twitched when he learned he owed over 100 million ryo. He still had the money, thanks to the cash Yuya had left him. But parting with such a large sum made him feel bitter. The suppliers also asked if Denzo planned to continue purchasing raw materials. If not, they would seek other buyers. Denzo, after much deliberation, gritted his teeth and agreed to buy more. He refused to believe his factory couldn't succeed. But then, disaster struck in July. A ninja from the Shimura clan caught a worker slacking off and responded harshly, injuring the worker so severely they were hospitalized and nearly died. This incident left Denzo stunned. Soon after, he was summoned to the Hokage's office by Senju Tobirama. "What's the meaning of this?" Tobirama yelled. "We're all part of the same village. Are these workers not human beings? Why are you treating them like animals? If this is how you plan to manage a factory, how do you expect to manage a village if you become Hokage? If you can't handle this, you have no business sitting in my position. If I hadn't suppressed this incident and paid the family's medical expenses, 1 million ryo, you'd already be plastered all over tomorrow's ninja newspaper. Now get out of my sight. Don't let me see you again." Denzo left the office in disgrace. After wandering the streets for a day, he returned to the factory. But by then, the workers had gone on strike. Those who hadn't were already preparing to quit. Denzo, faced with no other choice, ordered the factory to shut down. He had given in. But he refused to admit defeat to Yuya directly. Instead, he chose to shut everything down quietly, valuing his pride above all else. In truth, if Denzo had treated the workers with respect, things might not have turned out so badly. Yuya hadn't intentionally sabotaged him, but the challenges Denzo faced were all interconnected. First, Yuya had taken all the experienced workers with him. To run the factory, Denzo had to recruit new workers at higher wages, which drove up costs. Second, Denzo replaced the factory's management with members of the Shimura clan. But they knew nothing about management or production techniques, creating inefficiencies. Third, Denzo failed to build relationships with distributors, refusing to spend money on hospitality or incentives. Finally, there were the raw material payments, which had to be made regardless. Yuya had calculated that even if Denzo's factory managed to stay afloat, it would require shrinking the workforce, reducing benefits, and cutting production. By the end, the hundreds of millions of ryo Denzo inherited would likely be gone, leaving the Shimura clan in a worse state than before. The stark contrast between Yuya's success and Denzo's failure would be undeniable. By August, the beverage factory had shut down. Ordinarily, Yuya would have stepped in to take over. However, he was occupied with a joyous event, In early August of Hidden Leaf Village's 23rd year, Tsunoda's younger brother, Nawaki, was born. Yuya made sure to attend the celebration in person. Chapter 105. When Yuya rushed to the hospital, there were already people standing at the door of the ward. Be careful, be careful. Senju Dobirama's nervous voice made Yuya feel very strange. Does my uncle even have this side to him? As he approached, Yuya saw a wrinkled little baby lying in a soft crib. Tsunoda was the first to notice Yuya. Her face turned slightly red as she leaned in nervously and said, "You're here?" Yuya wiped the sweat from his forehead and quickly apologized. "Sorry, I'm late. Something happened at the mine, and I had to deal with it first." Yuya's voice caught Senju Dobirama's attention. Dobirama coughed, trying to restore his image in front of Yuya. He stepped out from the crowd, walked over, and pulled Yuya aside. He knew that what Yuya had just said to Tsunoda was also meant for him. Otherwise, Yuya wouldn't have spoken so openly and at a normal volume. "What happened?" Senju Dobirama asked. Yuya replied in a low voice, "Sarutobi 13 of the Sarutobi clan went crazy at the prison mine and injured someone. 2 supervising ninjas subdued him and broke his legs. I rushed over to deal with it." Senju Dobirama frowned and asked, "How did you handle it?" "I sent a doctor to treat Sarutobi 13's legs. I publicly praised the supervisor but also criticized him for being too harsh. I rewarded him with 200,000 yen but ordered him to take a week off. If he does it again, he'll be fired," Yuya explained. Senju Dobirama was silent for a moment before patting Yuya on the shoulder. "Good job." He then led Yuya through the crowd. "Come and meet your nephew." Although Tsunoda was technically supposed to call Yuya uncle, he wouldn't let her. That would make him feel too old. However, if it was the little one, Yuya didn't mind. Yuya bent down and gently touched the baby's face, laughing and chatting with Senju Dobirama. Tsunoda's cheeks puffed up in frustration. Why is it always like this? She barely had a moment to speak before it was over. Obviously. Tsunoda's thoughts paused as she realized something. She was the one who always approached Yuya first. She was the one who acted shy and avoided him when she wanted to talk more. She was even the one who sent someone to drag him out of the gambling house, only to run away when he appeared. So, I only have myself to blame for not taking the opportunity to act cute when I could? Tsunoda felt helpless and could only stare at Yuya, who was laughing with Senju Dobirama and their neighbors nearby, as well as the patients and doctors in the hospital. This scene did not escape the notice of Tsunoda's mother, who was lying in the hospital bed. Her mother smiled meaningfully. If it were Yuya, she wouldn't just approve, she would be thrilled to see Tsunoda married to him. Chapter 106. Later, Yuya recovered, and Hidden Leaf Village's year-end summary concluded. After the thrilling incident where everyone was dragged by Senju Dobirama to be used like workhorses, the families finally understood a crucial lesson. As the saying goes, every profession has its own expertise, and Yuya truly excels in his field, a fact they now acknowledge. Traveling less is no longer an option they can afford. This realization is now shared by all family members, and it's not merely because of the hundreds of millions in real money earned this year. The large families received hundreds of millions, the medium-sized ones tens of millions, and even the smallest got 100 million. Undoubtedly, Yuya's position as the heir is as stable as an old dog. As long as Yuya doesn't commit an act as severe as rebelling against the village, he is destined to be Hidden Leaf Village's third Hokage. The families in Hidden Leaf Village, who have benefited from him, will certainly be his strongest supporters when the time comes. The 24th year of Hidden Leaf Village has begun under these circumstances. Yuya was also ready to implement his initial suggestion, to have the 3 ninjas fame competition, which was essentially a Chunin exam for the 5 nations: fire, water, earth, wind, and thunder. Senju Dobirama was initially shocked by this suggestion, wondering how Yuya could be so brilliant. Upon deeper reflection, Dobirama realized the numerous advantages. Not only would it showcase the strength of Hidden Leaf Village's next generation, but it would also demonstrate Hidden Leaf Village's development. This would inevitably lead to increased respect from other villages for Hidden Leaf Village. At the start of the year, when delegates from other countries came to discuss New Year collaborations, Yuya presented his idea, and Senju Dobirama agreed, instructing them to return and explain their intentions. If no issues arose, the event would be scheduled for June and July of the following year, with Hidden Leaf Village covering all expenses. Other ninja villages agreed readily, eager to assess the quality of Hidden Leaf Village's next generation. Even Hidden Clouds Village, typically at odds with Hidden Leaf Village, seemed apologetic, eager to collaborate for mutual financial gain. After a year of mutual trade cooperation with Hidden Leaf Village, Union Village stabilized domestic prices, even though it required sacrificing hundreds of thousands of livestock. Nonetheless, it was worth it as no one in Union Village was now starving. The third Raikage felt content and looked forward to visiting Hidden Leaf Village the following year. Hidden Leaf Village, of course, had no intention of playing dirty. Before that, however. Boom. Huh? A sudden explosion in the forest west of Hidden Leaf Village caused many villagers to wonder. Yet, they remained unafraid, given Senju Tobirama's presence. In the forest, Senju Tobirama stood with his mouth agape at the scene before him. Uaya smiled slightly at Tobirama, asserting that while ninjas were the primary combat force in the ninja world, he believed chakra held the true power. Uaya grinned at the smoking barrel beside him, the product of the Research Institute's recent efforts, a chakra cannon. Senju Tobirama, silent, then pressed Uaya's head with relief, acknowledging that he had underestimated Uaya's understanding of the importance of force. Uaya, of course, understood this well, recognizing the truth that power lies within the range of a cannon. Senju Tobirama admitted that Uaya's achievement could completely alter the ninja world's dynamics, with ninjas potentially becoming mere energy sources for such powerful devices. However, he was satisfied, understanding that relying on a Senju Hashirama to maintain Hidden Leaf Village's peace every generation was unrealistic. This technology was different, it was a true cornerstone for Hidden Leaf Village's strength. Following this, Tobirama assured the villagers there was nothing to fear, and calm was restored. Later that year, Uaya's factory produced the first-generation cassette player. Though it seemed a minor step to many, it reinforced Uaya's understanding of the world's physical laws, confirming that both sound and light could be stored. This further solidified his direction for the future. In the same year, the first-generation black-and-white camera was successfully developed, marking the 24th year of Hidden Leaf Village as the dawn of a new era in literature and art. The prototypes of many future electronic devices emerged during this time. At the year's end, Uaya distributed year-end red envelopes to the villagers, filled not with money but with snacks like candies and biscuits, which delighted Hidden Leaf Village's residents. Additionally, Uaya completed the establishment of the radio and television station, appointing Senju Tobirama as the first director. Although televisions had not yet been built, they were on the horizon. As the one responsible for future preparations, Uaya couldn't wait for all the equipment to be ready before setting up a management organization. The management agency had to come first, followed by the corresponding projects. Throughout the year, Senju Tobirama occasionally visited the ninja school, where he also served as principal. However, as Hokage, he couldn't remain at the school full-time, given his more pressing responsibilities. Despite the outward tranquility, the year was rife with underlying tensions. At the year-end meeting, Senju Tobirama publicly announced to all Hidden Leaf Village families that he would resign as Hokage the following year, in the 25th year of Hidden Leaf Village, and his chosen successor would be Uaya. From Hidden Leaf Village 17 to the end of Hidden Leaf Village 24, Uaya had gradually assumed power from Tobirama. In 7 years, Hidden Leaf Village had transformed, quickly surpassing other countries' villages, particularly Hidden Cloud's village in the Land of Thunder, to become the wealthiest ninja village. This was evident to all present, especially the second generation of their families who had fought alongside Tobirama for 5 years. Uaya felt his heart race, knowing Tobirama would make this announcement, yet still feeling nervous at the moment, worrying about potential objections from the families. Ultimately, none of the family heads raised their hands to disagree. Many glanced at the Sarutobi and Shimura clan leaders after Tobirama spoke, but the Sarutobi leader simply closed his eyes, feigning ignorance. As for the Shimura leader, everyone knew Shimura Denzo was the true decision certainly. Here's the revised text with improved grammar and clarity. Later, Uaya recovered, and Hidden Leaf Village's year-end summary came to an end. After the thrilling incident where everyone was dragged by Senju Tobirama to be used as labor, the families finally understood the importance of specialties within the art industry. Uaya excelled in this industry, and they acknowledged this fact. The realization dawned upon them that they could not afford to travel less. This understanding was now accepted by all family members, not merely because of the hundreds of millions of real money Uaya earned this year. Larger families received hundreds of millions, smaller ones received tens of millions, and the smallest received 100 million. Consequently, Uya's position as the heir was as stable as a rock. As long as Uaya refrained from any major rebellion against the village, he was destined to become the third Hokage of Hidden Leaf Village. The families who benefited from him would undoubtedly be his strongest supporters. The 24th year of Hidden Leaf Village arrived in this atmosphere. Uaya was already poised to implement his first suggestion: let the 3 ninjas pretend to compete in a Chunin exam for the 5 countries of fire, water, earth, wind, and thunder. Senju Tobirama was astounded by this idea. I truly want to crack open your head and see what's inside, he thought. How can you be such a genius? Upon careful consideration, Tobirama realized the myriad of benefits this plan offered. It would showcase the strength of Hidden Leaf Village's next generation and the village's development, enhancing Hidden Leaf Village's value among others. Therefore, at the beginning of the year, when missions from other countries arrived to discuss New Year cooperation, Yuya proposed his idea. Senju Tobirama agreed and requested them to return and explain their intentions, scheduling the event for June and July next year, with Hidden Leaf Village covering all expenses. Other ninja villages readily agreed, eager to assess Hidden Leaf Village's next generation's quality. Even Hidden Clouds Village, typically at odds with Hidden Leaf Village, was eager to cooperate for mutual financial benefit. Within a year, Union Village stabilized domestic prices through a mutual trading cooperation with Hidden Leaf Village, albeit at the cost of hundreds of thousands of cattle, sheep, and other meat livestock. However, the payoff was worth it, as no one in Union Village faced hunger anymore. The Third Reich Hage felt content and looked forward to visiting Hidden Leaf Village next year, confident that Hidden Leaf Village would not risk playing tricks on such a large scale. Hidden Leaf Village indeed had no intention of deceit. However, before proceeding, a sudden explosion in the forest west of Hidden Leaf Village startled the villagers. Despite the confusion, there was no panic, as Senju Tobirama's presence reassured them. In the forest, Senju Tobirama stood amazed at the scene before him. Yuya smiled and said, "While the main fighting power of the ninja world is ninjas, I believe it should be chakra." He gestured to the smoking barrel beside him, the latest project of the Scientific Research Institute, the chakra cannon. Senju Tobirama was silent, then pressed Yuya's head with relief. "I always thought you would only make Hidden Leaf Village rich and powerful, not strong in terms of force. Now I realize you've always known that force is the root of everything." Yuya smiled, well aware that the saying truth lies within the range of a cannon was true. Tobirama sighed, acknowledging that Yuya's achievement could change the ninja world's landscape. In the future, ninjas might merely recharge this powerful weapon, but Tobirama was satisfied. After all, he couldn't expect a Senju Hashirama to protect Hidden Leaf Village's peace in every generation. This technology was a true cornerstone for Hidden Leaf Village's strength. Later, Tobirama assured the villagers there was no cause for alarm, and calm was restored. In the 24th year of Hidden Leaf Village, Yuya's factory produced the first-generation cassette player. It was a small step for the world, but it confirmed the physical rules of this world for Yuya, affirming that sound and light could be stored. This certainty bolstered his future direction. That same year, the first-generation black-and-white camera was successfully developed, marking the start of a literary and artistic era in Hidden Leaf Village. The prototypes of many future electronic products emerged this year. At the end of the 24th year, Yuya distributed year-end gifts to everyone in the village. Although he didn't give out money, the snacks, such as candies and biscuits, were a delightful surprise for the Hidden Leaf villagers. Additionally, Yuya established the radio and television station, appointing Senju Tobirama as the first director. Although the TV hadn't been built yet, Yuya, as the person in charge, couldn't wait for all equipment to be ready before creating this management organization. Management needed to be in place before corresponding projects emerged. Senju Tobirama occasionally visited the ninja school, remembering his role as school principal. However, as Hokage, he couldn't be there all the time, given his other significant responsibilities. Despite the peaceful surface, an undercurrent ran through the year. At the year-end meeting, Senju Tobirama publicly announced his intention to resign as Hokage in the 25th year of Hidden Leaf Village, naming Yuya as his successor. Yuya had managed Hidden Leaf Village's power since Hidden Leaf Village 17, and by the end of Hidden Leaf Village 24, the village had transformed. Within 7 years, Hidden Leaf Village had rapidly surpassed other villages, particularly Hidden Clouds Village, becoming the wealthiest ninja village. Everyone present recognized this achievement. Yuya's heart raced with anticipation, knowing this moment would come, yet still feeling nervous. He feared some families might object, but none of the patriarchs did. Although many glanced at the Sarutobi and Shimura clan leaders, the Sarutobi leader simply closed his eyes, pretending not to notice, and the Shimura clan deferred to Shimura Denzo, who had faced criticism for previous decisions. Last year, Shimura Denzo had mishandled the factory, resulting in no financial gain for the Shimura clan, only receiving candies and biscuits like other villagers. This year, however, Yuya allocated 10% of the beverage factory's net profit to the Shimura family, over 200 million taels. If Denzo objected now, the Shimura clan would likely be dissatisfied with him. Family forces living in groups naturally support each other, but when it comes to profit distribution, everyone questions why one person should receive the largest share, even if they are the patriarch. The Shimura clan, having received nothing last year, now saw the potential for over $1 billion in 2 years, prompting support for Yuya. The Uchiha clan had some concerns, desiring benefits akin to the Sarutobi or Hinata clans. Though Yuya remained silent on land distribution, Kagami Uchiha's loyalty to Yuya when he had little to offer bore fruit. Kagami Uchiha's unwavering support during the water plant's construction led to significant profits for the Uchiha clan, although the shares were under Kagami Uchiha's name. Despite this, Kagami Uchiha generously allowed his clan to collect dividends. Meanwhile, the Nara clan, despite past losses, now reaped benefits, albeit smaller than Sarutobi and Hinata's. None of the family patriarchs objected to Yuya, who understood the art of sharing wealth. Objecting would mean losing dividends next year, so agreement was the better choice. Thus, Senju Dobirama confirmed the decision for Yuya to succeed him as the third Hokage in the 25th year of Hidden Leaf Village. In a Naruto movie, Raikage, a formidable figure, wields a cannon to destroy the moon. While this cannon wasn't featured in the Fourth Ninja War, it was understood to be hidden. Since Hidden Clouds Village could produce such a cannon, Hidden Leaf Village's development of a similar cannon was plausible. Chapter 107. In the 25th year of Hidden Leaf Village, after celebrating the new year, Senju Dobirama sent Yuya's name to the daimyo of the Fire Nation. Although Hidden Leaf Village has the final decision-making power, notifying them was still necessary. After all, Hidden Leaf Village is strategically located in the heart of the Fire Nation, a large territory that serves as a capital. While Hidden Leaf Village provides military protection to the Fire Nation, the relationship remains a cooperative and equal one. Therefore, Senju Dobirama sent Yuya's nomination to the daimyo's mansion of the Fire Nation. As for whether it would be rejected, Senju Dobirama never considered this a possibility. The Fire Nation, having emerged from war, understood the benefits Hidden Leaf Village could bring. Especially with Senju Dobirama being the younger brother of Senju Hashirama, a legendary figure who forced the entire Naruto world to change, there was little doubt about Hidden Leaf Village's influence. Moreover, Hidden Leaf Village had been at war with Hidden Clouds Village in recent years, making it unlikely for the daimyo to reject Obirama's nomination. Naturally, the daimyo's mansion also holds its own power. They can propose names in every Hokage selection, unlike Hidden Leaf Village, which can nominate only one person. The daimyo's mansion can nominate two people, giving them some face. This time, they nominated Mito Kabuto and Sarutobi Hiruzen. Their willingness to nominate candidates stemmed from a desire to test Hidden Leaf Village's allegiance now that Senju Hashirama was no longer alive. In recent years of war, Hidden Leaf Village had grown stronger, unsettling some in the daimyo's mansion who feared Hidden Leaf Village might eventually seek independence. Yuya and Senju Dobirama had discussed this issue, concluding that Hidden Leaf Village could not pursue independence, at least not now. Should Hidden Leaf Village declare independence, the Fire Nation, once an ally, could become an adversary, potentially allying with other villages against Hidden Leaf Village. An independent Hidden Leaf Village lacks strategic depth and must win every battle, leaving no room for defeat. Compared to the potential aftermath of independence, enduring slight constraints from the Fire Nation was acceptable to Senju Dobirama. Besides, the Fire Nation allocates billions of taels annually to Hidden Leaf Village, a sum that, though modest to Yuya, is better than nothing. Half of these funds are distributed as dividends to Hidden Leaf Village families, while the remainder is invested in Hidden Leaf Village's development for the following year, a beneficial arrangement. In Hidden Leaf Village's 25th year, villagers noticed the return of the young man who had once urged them to donate money and materials, now appearing before them. Yuya, at 18, had matured, his appearance reflecting the transition from youth to young adulthood. Rumors had long circulated about Yuya's contributions to Hidden Leaf Village's prosperity, and his presence sparked curiosity about his next steps. Yuya did not disappoint. He announced that Hidden Leaf Village would host a Chunin exam this year, inviting ninjas from the 4 countries of Wind, Water, Thunder, and Earth. He urged Hidden Leaf Village to showcase its strength and not let others underestimate them, emphasizing that visitors from Hidden Clouds Village would be present. Despite any animosity towards Hidden Clouds Village, Yuya hoped for restraint, knowing that trouble might still arise. However, addressing the issue was better than ignoring it. As expected, when envoys from other countries arrived in Hidden Leaf Village by the end of January, problems arose. While other delegations faced no issues, the Hidden Clouds Village envoy was pelted with rotten eggs and vegetable leaves. Yuya, upon reading the report, smiled dryly and shook his head. He could only gauge the response from the Cloud Hidden Village, hoping they would not retaliate against Hidden Leaf villagers. Fortunately, Narashikaya informed Yuya that the Hidden Clouds Village envoy showed restraint. Yuya, reflecting on the situation, personally visited the Union Village envoy to apologize. Narashikama arranged for a photograph, which was published on the newspaper's front page the next day, ensuring everyone in Hidden Leaf Village knew Yuya's name. While ninjas accepted Yuya's response, villagers expressed anger. Tsunade, holding a newspaper, was particularly furious. Jiraiya and Orochimaru, also reading the news, exchanged helpless glances, understanding the political implications behind Yuya's actions. Apologizing to representatives of the Land of Thunder's Union Village, who had been publicly humiliated, was indeed necessary. Saratobe Hiruzen, noticing their tension, called out to Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru, offering roasted sweet potatoes. The delicious aroma lightened the mood, reminding them of simpler times when sweet potatoes were a staple during lean years. Tsunade, despite her initial anger, joined the others, easing the tension with their mentor. Against this backdrop, Hidden Leaf Village's trade cooperation with other villages concluded. By May, participants from other villages arrived in Hidden Leaf Village with children for the Chunin examination. The first Chunin exam officially commenced in the summer of Hidden Leaf Village's 25th year. Chapter 108. For people from the other 4 countries, this visit to Hidden Leaf Village was truly an eye-opener. Various buildings are still under construction in the outer city of Hidden Leaf Village, and the various construction sites are bustling at a glance. Although the inner city is not as lively as the outer city, the prosperity of the inner city is several streets ahead of the outer city. Especially the children from the other 4 countries who came this time. Originally, as young geniuses from a big country, they were arrogant. But after coming to Hidden Leaf Village, they found that ordinary people in Hidden Leaf Village were wearing similar clothes to them, and they instantly lost their arrogant attitude. Especially since there are many things in Hidden Leaf Village that they don't have. There are also the huge projection screens, the enormous portraits projected on them, actually advertising paintings, the vast roads, and the trams carrying workers to and from work outside the inner city. This scene stimulates their hearts. Especially when they went to a shopping mall and saw all the zeros on the price tags of the products above, these children from other countries almost fell into a state of disbelief. Although they have seen electric fans and gramophones playing records, they definitely don't have them at home. After all, UIA's focus in recent years has not been on exporting gramophones or electric fans. If you want to export these things, you must first ensure every household in Hidden Leaf Village has them before considering anything else. Now that Hidden Leaf Village itself hasn't finished distributing these, what can it do to export them? For the children from the other 4 countries, it was like the experience of a rabbit in the 1990s from UIA's previous life going to the home of the bald eagle on the other side of the ocean. The difference is indeed visible to the naked eye. These children have been in Hidden Leaf Village for more than half a month, and they are feeling very anxious. They wanted to teach these genin of Hidden Leaf Village a good lesson. It was against this background that the opening ceremony was held. At the opening ceremony, UIA gave a speech, expressing his welcome to the other 4 countries' participants in the first Chunin examination. After that, he said a lot of formal words, and finally announced that the Chunin exams would officially begin the next day. Participants from all countries should have a good rest. After that, UIA smiled and invited the representatives sent by the other 4 countries to visit Hidden Leaf Village's new achievements. In fact, when the Kage from the other 4 countries did not come in person but sent representatives, UIA knew that other countries were still wary of Hidden Leaf Village. But this is normal. It would be strange if other countries weren't wary of Hidden Leaf Village. So UIA didn't feel surprised. He took representatives from the 4 countries to the undeveloped forest areas in the west. UIA asked someone to bring up the chakra cannon, and then there was a boom. The expressions of the representatives of the 4 countries instantly became extremely ugly. UIA laughed and told people from several countries that the power of this chakra cannon can affect a radius of 100 meters. It is indeed not very powerful, as long as it is a jonin who uses the body technique instantly, they can easily avoid it. Moreover, this thing is too heavy, making it inconvenient to transport. Alas, strictly speaking, this thing is still a failure, which makes everyone laugh. The corners of the mouths of people from the other 4 countries twitched. If yours is really a failure, why did you pull it out for us to see? Is there something wrong with your brain? Yes, this thing is indeed not too powerful in a strict sense. The heavy weight means that it is not conducive to transportation, and the explosion range is only more than 100 meters. Strictly speaking, any jounin who has practiced the teleportation technique properly and reacts quickly can avoid it. But the crux of the matter is that if you look at this thing, a normal person will know that it can be mass-produced. Moreover, the inconvenience of transportation can only be said to be inconvenient for attack. But if it is used for defense and positional warfare, wouldn't this thing be a big killer? When the time comes, if there are more people charging, a few rounds of shelling will blow them up. It's impossible to form a phalanx composed entirely of jounin, right? That would require at least several hundred jounin. Do you have so many jounin? And so many jounin are used as cannon fodder to charge into the battle? What a joke. It's impossible for a normal person to make this choice. But now the representative of Hidden Cloud's village can only think in his heart that this thing has been researched recently. Otherwise, if UIA figured it out in front of him and pulled him in front of Hidden Lee Village's defense formation, they would really be unable to fight the Hidden Cloud village. After thinking about this, the representatives from the 4 countries suddenly became enthusiastic about UIA. And the people in Hidden Stones Village and Hidden Mist Village said on the spot whether this thing was for sale. As long as you sell it, the price is not a problem. Although it is a bit heavy, you don't have to worry about transportation. Of course, it would be great if Hidden Leaf Village is willing to help with transportation. We can pay for it. Uia laughed and said with a grin that this thing is a failure now. How can a failure be sold to a friend village, right? We will perfect it in a few years and then sell it to you. I hope you will support it a lot. Several representatives immediately understood in their hearts that this young guy was really thoughtful. He's trying to hit us. Improving it means that Hidden Leaf Village will continue to develop and sell this outdated weapon when it reaches the next generation. Several representatives immediately gritted their teeth. Hidden Leaf Village was simply bullying others. Is there anyone doing this business? We have already said that the price is up to you. Although they thought so in their hearts, they turned around and glanced at the polished cannon barrel. None of the 4 representatives raised objections. Uia happily brought the 4 delegations back to Hidden Leaf Village, saying that we would host a banquet for everyone tonight and asked everyone to show their appreciation when the time comes. The 4 representatives quickly expressed their affirmation. Uia felt relieved, knowing that the purpose of deterrence had been achieved. Next, let's wait for everyone to show off and make excuses together at the banquet, and then once the Chunin exam is held, Jiraiya and the 3 of them will pretend to compete. Hey, it's all settled now. Uia's thoughts were pretty good, but a sudden accident directly put him in a state of confusion. The Genin who came from Hidden Cloud Village to take the Chunin exams were beaten. Uia was stunned for a moment. And Kagami Uchiha told him that those who bullied Hidden Cloud's village's children were the villagers of Hidden Leaf Village. Uia was even more confused now. But he knew better that this kind of thing had to be dealt with. If it is not handled well, it will really cause the next generation of Hidden Cloud's village to hate Hidden Leaf Village. If the hatred reaches a certain level, then war will start again. Uia understands that artillery and economy are just means to suppress war. If the 2 sides really reach a fight to the death, then even if the technology is lower than yours, the equipment is behind you, and the economy is not even a fraction of yours, they will still dare to fight you. And it is obvious that the next generation from Hidden Cloud's village who came to take the Hidden Leaf Village Chunin exam this time has this ability. After all, when they grow up, they will become the mainstay of the next generation of Union Village, and they can really influence more of the next generation of Union Village. Uia understands this deeply, so he also knows that he must handle it well this time. He rushed to the scene almost as quickly as possible. When they arrived at the scene, they found 2 Uchiha guards blocking 3 children from Hidden Cloud's village, blocking a dozen Hidden Leaf villagers who wanted to take action to prevent them from conflicting with Hidden Cloud's village's children. Uia instantly understood that it was Kagami Uchiha's order. Nice job. Uia sighed in praise and immediately walked over there, and the 2 Uchiha ninjas were relieved when they saw Uia coming over. They were also under great pressure when the villagers of Hidden Leaf Village pointed their noses at them and called them Hidden Cloud's village lackeys and trash who dare not go to the battlefield but bully the people of their own village. After Uia arrived, he understood what was going on almost immediately. After thinking about how to deal with this problem several times in his mind, Uia asked the 2 Uchiha ninjas to step back and stood between the Hidden Leaf villagers. Then Uia shouted angrily at the Hidden Leaf villagers in front of him, "What are you doing? What kind of skill does bullying a few children have? Your children went to the battlefield to fight against the ninjas of Hidden Cloud Village. In the end, the peace they exchanged for their lives was for you to bully these children?" Uia directly changed the concept and attributed the unending war between Hidden Leaf Village and Hidden Cloud's Village to the 9 Hidden Leaf Village ninjas who died on the battlefield. Of course, this statement is not wrong to some extent. The Hidden Leaf villagers in front of Uia followed Uia's words and said with angry expressions that their children had sacrificed their lives for Hidden Leaf Village. They lost their children and saw that they would be alone in the future, and all of this. It's because of the ninjas from Hidden Cloud Village. Why? Why is it obviously the Hidden Cloud Village that attacks Hidden Leaf Village? The one who was injured was also Hidden Leaf Village. Why are you here to stop him now when he wants to take revenge on Hidden Cloud's village as shinobi? These words were applauded by the surrounding Hidden Leaf villagers who were watching the excitement. Uia stood in front of the person who was calling, and then he slowly looked around, his eyes lingering on the 3 children in Union Village behind him for a moment, looking at them gritting their teeth, lowering their heads, and clenching their fists. Uia knew that these children were very angry at what they had experienced. Uia knew that if today's matter was not handled well, it would really become a diplomatic accident. Many times diplomatic accidents are caused by trivial matters. For example, the diplomat who was once weak was teased in the street by the civilians of America and laughed at the braid on the back of his head. To the civilians of America, it was a perfectly normal racial discrimination. For America, this was normal indeed, but it was a great shame and humiliation for the diplomat. The incident was ultimately characterized as a diplomatic accident. Oh, by the way, there is no follow-up. A certain old woman who is a hot chick doesn't care about this kind of thing at all. But Yuia's current situation is different. Union Village is not a country led by that good-for-nothing old woman. Cloud Hidden Village really dares to attack Hidden Leaf Village. After thinking about this, Yuia raised his head and looked at the leading middle-aged man. His voice was calm and magnetic. Do you think so? What? The middle-aged man was stared at by Yuia with a serious, stern look, and his heart suddenly became a little uneasy, but he still raised his hand and looked at Yuia and shouted loudly, "Isn't it true? Isn't what I said right?" Yuia looked at the middle-aged man in front of him and understood that the other man was already nervous. So, he looked at the others around him. Do you think so too? The other villagers looked at each other a few times, feeling a little guilty. After all, these children in Union Village are just children under the age of 13 or 14. They also know that their behavior is a bit excessive, but they couldn't bear it, the ninja who was leading the team in Union Village. The big ninja leading the team is a jounin from Hidden Cloud Village. They are afraid that the other party will violently kill them. These kids are easier to bully. Yuia looked at the villagers with flickering eyes and felt confident that he already knew how to resolve this conflict. He opened his hands to block the three Genin children from Hidden Cloud's village. He looked at the villagers of Hidden Leaf Village seriously and said, "If you really think so, then hit me before hitting them." These Hidden Leaf villagers were already confused, but now that Yuia said this and Kagami Uchiha was standing by, ready to subdue anyone, they instantly became frightened. Yuia knew that these Hidden Leaf villagers were basically bullies who were afraid of the strong. Although they were dissatisfied with the people of Union Village, they did not dare to provoke the jounin who led the team from Union Village. They could only bully the children here. I know that you are resentful towards the people of Cloud Hidden Village because of their attack on Hidden Leaf Village. I understand this. However, you cannot retaliate against the children of Union Village. So many Hidden Leaf Village ninjas have sacrificed their lives for peace, and their sacrifices have led to today's peace. If you continue to harbor ill will towards Hidden Cloud's village, what difference does that make from the second Raikage who announced the attack on our Hidden Leaf Village? The second Raikage attacked Hidden Leaf Village for his own selfish interests and caused us to suffer so much. Do you want to continue like this? Your attacks on these children will only cause hatred to continue to spread, and eventually cause the already peaceful world to shift to war again. I don't want to see the ninjas of Hidden Leaf Village die in front of me anymore, and I don't want to see the war caused by our Hidden Leaf Village. That was a blasphemy against the dead heroes of Hidden Leaf Village who had already sacrificed their lives. After Yuia finished speaking, the villagers in front of him were already crying. In any case, their children did sacrifice their lives for Hidden Leaf Village. Yuia's words affirmed their children's sacrifice and the hard-won peace. It is even more clear that their current pain is destroying the peace brought about by the sacrifice of their children. Yuia's eyes softened and he stepped forward to comfort these uncles and aunts who had lost their children. And Yuia said that Hidden Leaf Village will always compensate them until the day they have a new child or they die. Hidden Leaf Village will always take care of them. This is his promise to Yuia. As a result, this possible diplomatic accident was nipped in the bud by Yuia. Although Yuia's original intention was to deal with these villagers in Hidden Leaf Village, what he didn't notice was that the emotion in the eyes of Hidden Cloud's village's child behind him was almost overflowing. The education given to them by Cloud Hidden Village is that sooner or later, Cloud Hidden Village will fight back against Hidden Leaf Village. But children in the Naruto world are very precocious. What's more, children themselves will have a rebellious period, during which they will think about the opposite possibility of what adults say. Today, these three children gained a new understanding. They believe that the education given to them by Union Village is wrong. That is a route that continues to lead Union Village towards war. And the path their Union Village should take. Didn't the young man in front of them tell them? Peaceful coexistence is the mainstream of the future. This perception may not necessarily be their final one, but as long as they have the courage to question, they will no longer be brainwashed by the theory of Hidden Leaf Village's enemies in Hidden Cloud Village. Of course, this Yuia doesn't know. The next day, the Chunin exams officially began. Yuia had no time to pay attention to this. Instead, he wrote an article on war and peace, and published it on the front page of the newspaper. Everyone in the Hidden Leaf Village read Yuia's relevant analysis, especially the pain caused by the war that needs to be faced correctly. This does not mean that you should completely forgive the other party, but that we must find out who is our real enemy and who are victims like us. In the article, Yuia pointed out that in the war in Cloud Hidden Village, those who died on the battlefield like the Hidden Leaf Village ninjas were all victims because of the selfish desires of the second Raikage. The real initiators were the second Raikage and those big families in Union Village. Hidden Leaf Village needs to figure out its enemy. Rather than just being a person from Cloud Hidden Village, Hidden Leaf Village will hate them to the core. This article made many people in Hidden Leaf Village slap their thighs, saying that they had been blinded by hatred before. If you think about it carefully, is there any difference between the ordinary people in Cloud Hidden Village and the ordinary people in Hidden Leaf Village before? Doesn't everyone just want to have enough to eat? Not to mention that most ordinary people in Union Village still don't have enough to eat. This resonated even more with the villagers of Hidden Leaf Village. In addition, the hatred of some people against Uia will only bring about a new war. In the new war, other people's children will be killed and other people's children will die. Is this what you want? This soul-searching question made Uia instantly gain widespread recognition from the villagers of Hidden Leaf Village. A leader like Saratobe Hiruzen can be recognized by the villagers of Hidden Leaf Village. There is no reason why a pacifist like Uia cannot be recognized. The internal atmosphere of Hidden Leaf Village has never been higher. Everyone also thinks it is better to have peace instead of war. And in the next Chunin exam, the final winner also attracted the attention of the villagers of Hidden Leaf Village. In the final stage of the Chunin examination, Hidden Leaf Village's Jiraiya lost the civil war with Orochimaru, and Tsunade also faced off against Orochimaru after continuously defeating ninjas from other villages. In the end, Tsunade's great power was defeated by Orochimaru's softness. Tsunade was very sad at that time. Tsunade became even more envious when Uia came off the stage and personally announced that Orochimaru was fighting against Tsukumo Hatake, the last ninja who defeated Hidden Cloud's village. She also wanted to be announced by Uia personally. It's a pity that she lost. In the final battle, Orochimaru summoned his own psychic beast White Snake. Orochimaru has not yet concluded a contract with the man-eating fairy snake, and his strength is not enough. And Tsukumo Hatake won this Chunin exam by using the teleportation technique to move infinitely and finally put a short knife on Orochimaru's neck. It also made people in other countries know the name Tsukumo Hatake. Afterwards, Tsukumo Hatake also received his reward and was promoted from the Geinin class to Chunin, with the ability to take on tasks and complete them on his own. Tsunade and other young Sannin are also qualified to graduate, but they will have to wait until next year to graduate. After the Chunin exam was over, Tsunade and the three of them realized that so many things had happened during their exam. When Tsunade read the article about war and peace written by Uia, she felt enlightened. It turns out that the relationship between war and peace is like this. It turns out that the reason why Hidden Cloud's village wanted to attack Hidden Leaf Village was all due to the decision-making between the Raikage and the leaders of the big families. Chapter 109 Dingle Bell 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 Bell. A white arm stretched out from under the quilt and clicked the switch on the alarm clock. Tsunade, it's time to get up and eat. Her mother's voice called from outside. A head with light yellow hair poked out from beneath the quilt. Tsunade responded vaguely, then wrapped herself back up and turned over to continue sleeping. Squeak. The door opened, and a head popped in. Tsunade's mother, looking slightly exasperated, addressed her daughter who was bundled up in the quilt. Did you forget that you need to deliver the mission brochure to the Hokage building today? Maybe you'll see Brother Yuya, whom you miss so much. Tsunade, hugging the quilt with a bit of drool on her cheek, suddenly woke up, her eyes wide. She immediately sat up, her developing figure shaking slightly as she moved. Get up now. After quickly washing up, Tsunade grabbed 2 pieces of bread and dashed towards the door. I'm going out. After Tsunade left, her mother shook her head helplessly. If she had known this, why did she give up such a great opportunity before? Wah! The cry of a child rang out, and Tsunade's mother quickly put down what she was doing and ran to the bedroom. Nozuki, Nashu, it's okay, mommy is here. When Tsunade hurriedly arrived at the Hokage's office building, she saw Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and others, including Tsukumo Hatake, who had defeated Orochimaru and won the first Chunin exam, thus earning the Chunin qualification. They were gathered with the team outside the Hokage's office. But Tsukumo Hatake stood at the forefront. Sorry I'm late. Tsunade panted, standing next to Jiraiya and Orochimaru. Jiraiya looked at Tsunade and raised his eyebrows. Tsunade, you had a chance to see your brother today, and you're late. No wonder he doesn't have feelings for you. Having spent years together in school and studying under Hiruzen Saratobi for 3 years, Jiraiya and Orochimaru were well aware of Tsunade's feelings for Uia. Unfortunately, she hadn't been proactive before, and now. Jiraiya glanced around, noticing the many competitors. It's none of your business. Tsunade replied with a blank stare at Jiraiya. She wasn't about to hold back against this pervert who liked sneaking into the women's bathhouse. The door is open. Orochimaru said softly. The 3 young teens, now 13 or 14, were no longer children. In the ninja world, where people matured early, some even got married at 13 or 14. Some were engaged even if not married, like Kagami Uchiha. It is said that although Kagami Uchiha was a victim of a family arranged marriage, he was lucky. The girl his family found for him was gentle, a blessing from Lady Luck. Even in the original history, could it be that Kagami Uchiha's misfortune was balanced by a good wife, draining all his luck? How do we know Kagami Uchiha's wife was good? Look at Shizue Uchiha. In a clan where brain disorders were common, Shizue's disposition surely had family influences. That was the way of ninja families. Although Uchiha was publicly recognized as Senju Hashirama's disciple, he was technically a commoner, and no one would pressure him to marry at his current age. Moreover, the Senju clan had long dispersed within Hidden Leaf Village. Even so, they maintained family connections. Currently, the most influential voice among the remaining Senju was Tsunade. Strictly speaking, Tsunade had many supporters behind her. But support only goes so far, one must seize opportunities oneself. You can't sleep in today, tomorrow, or any day if you want to catch up with the man. Not to mention, Uchiha was extremely busy. The door to the Hokage's office opened, and more than 20 boys and girls of the same age entered. The girls clasped their hands and excitedly discussed whether they would see the third Hokage, who had just taken office last month. The boys discussed the new system for subdividing into levels created by Uchiha. To simplify, the system introduced 3 levels of Geinin, 3 levels of Chunin, and 3 levels of Jounin. The titles, salaries, and benefits changed accordingly. For instance, Junior Jounin earned a fixed monthly salary of 800,000 ryo, with a 1-month salary bonus at year's end. Intermediate Jounin received 1,000,000 ryo per month, with a 3-month salary bonus at year's end. Senior Jounin earned 1.2 million ryo per month, with a half-year salary bonus at year's end. Initially, all Jounin were classified as Junior Jounin, and promotion to Intermediate Jounin required significant contributions. Uchiha also established a military rank system that corresponded to ninja levels. Military rank depended purely on one's prestige within the Hidden Leaf Village army. High-ranking officers usually had higher ninja levels. To promote from Geinin to Chunin, one could earn contributions through tasks or perform well in the Chunin exam. If 3 Jounin examiners agreed, a Geinin could be directly promoted. Theoretically, one could become a Chunin in their first year as a Geinin, but promoting from Chunin to Jounin was more complicated. The previous instances of Kakashi and Itachi Uchiha being promoted to Jounin quickly were no longer possible. Military ranks included lieutenant, colonel, and general, with only those holding a rank having the authority to command other ninja armies. The Hokage held the position of marshal. Promotion in military ranks was challenging, requiring at least half a year of military camp service, intense daily training, and strict adherence to orders. Ninjas in the camp obeyed only the Hokage's orders. Before Uchiha became Hokage, many initiatives were impossible. Now, he had the freedom to implement changes, such as restructuring the ninja army. With Senju Dobirama now directing a research institute, Uchiha had more autonomy. However, Uchiha's actions needed to align with Hidden Leaf Village's interests. The military restructuring undoubtedly benefited Hidden Leaf Village. Uchiha utilized training methods from his previous life to form an army of over 1,500, primarily civilian ninjas, showcasing what true training entailed. Orders and prohibitions were just the basics. Advanced tactics, like 131 formations, triangle attack formations, 10-man squads, and battalion training, were the core. As for the chakra cannon, it was prioritized for Uchiha's personal guards. Senju Dobirama had no objections, as long as Hidden Leaf Village remained stable and progressed. With Uchiha's newfound freedom, Hidden Leaf Village had broken free from constraints, entering an era of rapid advancement. Starting with Hidden Leaf Village's next generation was crucial. When Tsunade and the other young ninjas entered the Hokage's office building and saw Uchiha smiling at them from the stairs, even the usually composed Orochimaru felt a rush of excitement. What Uchiha offered them was the opportunity to be among the first Geinin promoted to Chunin. This achievement would undoubtedly be recorded in history. Chapter 110. Speaking of which, isn't that guy already a Chunin? Why is he still here with us to receive the award from Big Brother? Jiraiya asked Tsunade in a low voice. Tsunade glared at Jiraiya. I don't know, and I don't want to know. Hurry up, it's almost your turn. Jiraiya curled his lips, wondering why she was so anxious. It will be your turn eventually. Orochimaru interjected. He might have obtained the qualification before, but to officially receive the title of Chunin, he still needs to be awarded a medal. Jiraiya asked, huh? Is that so? Orochimaru nodded. Since the first batch has special significance, only the first batch of the third generation will be awarded in person. The follow-up batches likely won't continue this way. Jiraiya was a little surprised. Really? Where did you hear that, Orochimaru? Orochimaru replied, I deduced it myself, and it should be pretty accurate. Tsunade listened and breathed a heavy sigh of relief. If she missed today because she was lying in bed, Uaya might not be there next time. The thought made her happy. Soon, it was Jiraya's turn. Uaya placed the forehead protector, symbolizing Hidden Leaf Village Chunin, a dark blue strap, into Jiraya's hand, and smiled as he congratulated him. From today, you are Hidden Leaf Village's Chunin. In the future, I hope you can contribute more to Hidden Leaf Village, become a Jonin as soon as possible, and make Hidden Leaf Village greater, allowing your family and friends to have better lives. Jiraiya became excited. He took the forehead protector, put it on his head immediately, and saluted Uaya. I will definitely do it. Tsunade, annoyed, kicked him. Are you done? Alright, move along. After kicking Jiraiya away, Tsunade approached Uaya with a slightly flushed face, fidgeting with her fingers. Uaya smiled and placed the forehead protector on Tsunade's forehead. Being so close, Tsunade could smell Uaya's scent. After Uaya finished, he noticed Tsunade's blushing face and asked, "What's wrong?" No, it's nothing." Uaya continued with the same encouragement he gave Jiraiya. Although it might sound cliché, he couldn't come up with a unique line for everyone. Uaya didn't have time to waste. Tsunade, holding her head in her hands, walked away in a daze. Next was Orochimaru. Meanwhile, Jiraiya whispered to Tsunade with a look of frustration, "Tsunade, how could you just leave like that? Today was your chance to finally meet brother Uaya. Didn't you say you practiced what you wanted to say to him?" Tsunade gave Jiraiya a cold stare, remaining silent. Jiraiya's expression shifted from anger to a timid look, and he backed down. Tsunade snorted and ignored him. However, Tsunade regretted not saying more earlier. "It really is a pity," Orochimaru said, adding to Tsunade's regret. Tsunade felt a pang of disappointment inside. After Uaya encouraged each of them, he prepared to give a collective speech, urging them to work hard for Hidden Leaf Village. At that moment, Kagami Uchiha appeared behind Uaya and respectfully whispered, "Third Hokage, the Hidden Leaf Village caravan encountered an incident at the border of Hidden Stone's village." The businesslike smile vanished from Uaya's face. Looking at the teenagers before him, Uaya took a deep breath and addressed these future stalwarts of Hidden Leaf Village seriously. "Peace in Hidden Leaf Village is hard-won, and I hope you all remember this. Peace in Hidden Leaf Village does not mean peace in the world. Where we cannot see, people are striving and sacrificing for Hidden Leaf Village's peace and future. I am not here to glorify suffering, but some tasks must be done by someone. What I hope is that each of us remembers the dedication and sacrifice of these individuals. You are Hidden Leaf Village's hope, the future of Hidden Leaf Village. In 10 years, I hope you will become Jonin, capable of achieving even more." After saying these words, Uaya left immediately. A special handshake session had been planned, but given the situation, it was clearly cancelled. These words were not spoken on a whim, they were prepared earlier. However, due to the unexpected incident, they seemed like Uaya's immediate thoughts. But this approach was more effective. Reciting such words on stage could seem perfunctory, but an unexpected interruption made Uaya's words more impactful. Uaya was led to the Hokage's office by Kagami Uchiha. Naruto stood up eagerly, "Third Hokage." Uaya waved his hand, "Don't waste time. Just tell me what happened." "Yes." Naruto nodded, handing a scroll to Uaya. "One of our caravans disappeared on its way to Hidden Stone's village. We learned about it because the Hyuga clan reported their birdcage mechanism was triggered. We contacted Hidden Stone's village, but they said they didn't have the person. They agreed to help investigate, and later we found out the person was in the country of grass." Uaya glanced at the scroll, his expression turning cold. "The country of grass? Are they insane?" There was only one reason for the Hyuga clan's birdcage to be triggered: someone had taken the Byakugan. Naruto spoke slowly, "The leaders of the country of grass are eager for the bloodline limit. They even attacked particle-style ninjas from Hidden Stone's village before, but they were killed." Uaya considered the report and the situation in the country of grass. In the original history, after the Uzumaki clan was destroyed, Kozo and her mother went to the country of grass and were exploited there. The ninjas of the country of grass were often injured, as their leader coveted secret arts and bloodline limits. In the original history, these issues might have been left for Orochimaru to handle, but now. Uaya tossed the scroll onto the table and looked at Naruto. "Go and ask the Hyuga clan leader to meet me." "Yes." After Naruto left, Uaya softly called, "Uncle Kagami." Kagami Uchiha emerged from the shadows. "Please help me contact my uncle. It's a waste for the chakra cannon to only be used for practice. We need to see its results in actual combat." Regarding chakra cannons, Uaya followed the principle of researching one generation, hiding one, implementing one, and announcing one. There were at least 3 generations differences in weapon development. But as the saying goes, you must see a weapon to understand its true power. Is the nuclear bomb really that formidable? Unless you drop 2 more, I won't believe it until I see it with my own eyes. Similarly, representatives from the other 4 countries came to Hidden Leaf Village to see the chakra cannon being tested. But how effective it will be in real combat? Who knows? It's better to test it and see the results so that everyone understands. Today, the master who taught me asked if I could do a side job, like taking private orders. I was surprised, wondering why my master, who earns 200,000 to 300,000 orders monthly, seems so busy. It turns out he's been taking private jobs. Our company's factory only makes circuit boards and doesn't handle it component patching. Then my master asked me to take some patching orders, promising to teach me. I was tempted but didn't agree immediately. I told him I'd think about it for a few days before deciding. I'm really confused. If I agreed to take on private work, this old master promised to double my salary. Gee, this is really... Chapter 111 Hidden Leaf Village's action against the country of grass this time cannot be considered a war. Because Yua sent people to send letters to the 4 Kages of the wind, thunder, earth, and water countries, saying that this time I was trying to stand up for the Hyuga clan in our village. How dare this bitch from the grass country dare to covet him? I'm definitely going to kill him. These 4 countries were muttering to themselves that Yuya didn't take the opportunity to beat them, right? They are also very interested in Byakugan. But on the surface, they must have sent people over to unanimously express their support for the grandsons of Hidden Leaf Village and Hay Country. No matter what the comparison is, Cricket, a country of grass, dares to take advantage of our big country. The leader of the country of grass even arrogantly calls himself Grass Shadow. The title Kage can only be used by the leaders of the ninja villages in the 5 countries of fire, thunder, water, wind and earth. For example, it is okay for Hidden Leaf Village to call the leader of Yunnan Village Yukage, but if the leader of Yunnan Village calls himself Yukage, it doesn't matter if no one cares about him, but it is impossible for the 5 major countries to admit this. At most, he was just enjoying himself. The leader of the country of grass calls himself Grass Shadow, which makes people laugh. He didn't even look at what he was doing and dared to call himself Kaiying. Yuya asked the Hyuga clan to send someone to direct this operation this time, with one request, no matter how big a fuss you make about this. In the original history, how did Saratobe Hiruzen deal with the incident of Hinata Hyuga being attacked and almost abducted? Just give in. Yuya couldn't give in, and he didn't think he needed to give in. In fact, if we look back at the time period of Hiruzen Saratobi in the original history, and put aside the internal conflicts, even if Hiruzen Saratobi was tougher, Hidden Cloud's village it is impossible to make mistakes. At most, we will fight on the border. It is impossible to have another war on the level of the great ninja world. A cat or a dog dares to be so arrogant against Hidden Leaf Village. If I don't deal with it, who will you deal with? After Yuya's order was conveyed, some people in the village couldn't sit still. Saratobe Hiruzen found Yuya, and after hesitating for a long time, he finally expressed his opinion. He was afraid that the kingdom of Hidden Leaf Village would take the opportunity to cause trouble by the kingdom of Earth, and once the kingdom of Earth caused trouble, the kingdom of Wind would definitely be unsettled, and the kingdom of Wind would be unsettled, and the kingdom of Thunder might came to join in the fun. Yuya smiled. Saratobe Hiruzen's idea cannot be said to be correct. There are so many countries in the ninja world. Hidden Cloud's village in the kingdom of Thunder is not a good thing, but other countries are. It is right to be suspicious of other countries all the time, but we should not be timid because of this. Yuya was very polite to Saratobe Hiruzen. He treated him with good tea and didn't show off to the 3rd Hokage. In fact, Yuya didn't even bother to wear the Hokage hat if it wasn't a formal occasion. It was just a status symbol and had no practical effect. Significance. Yuya and Hiruzen Saratobi analyzed the current situation of the ninja world. The war has just ended. Let's not talk about the losses suffered by Union Village. Let's just talk about the economy of Union Village. It can be said that the economy of Union Village has just gotten better, but their domestic money is still basically in the hands of a few people. This means that the domestic food prices in Union Village can be kept down because of the resources of Hidden Leaf Village and Hidden Stones Village, so that ordinary people can afford food, but other resources are different. To put it simply, the 3rd generation Raikage is now managing the village with the help of Hidden Leaf Village and Hidden Stones Village so that the village will not be in chaos. Except for the lower price of food in Union Village, everything else, even a pack of toilet paper, is not cheap. Union Village has many domestic resources, but copper mines, iron mines, silver mines and even gold mines cannot fill its stomach. For at least 3 years, Hidden Cloud's village cannot live without the assistance of Hidden Stones Village and Hidden Leaf Village. If Hidden Cloud's village dares to cause trouble at this juncture, Yuya doesn't mind cutting off supplies and giving the aid sold to Hidden Cloud's village to other countries. A small country has few resources, but it can still squeeze out some oil and water. Yuya doesn't mind the amount of oil and water. The economy of Hidden Cloud's village is now controlled by Hidden Leaf Village, and in terms of military, there are always troops on the border. It's just not as many battles as before. But there must be a big team. This team is rotating and changes every year. From these two aspects, Union Village simply does not have the ability to fight another war. Apart from Union Village, there is only Sand Hidden Village in the country of Wind. If nothing else, the second-generation Kazekage has a really good strategic vision. But it was precisely because he was good that he refused to let all the land in Hidden Sand Village, the few places that could grow food, be replaced with peppers. It is precisely because of his outstanding strategic vision that he would rather spend 10 years building a canal from the north of the country of Wind to Hidden Sand Village. And precisely because of his outstanding strategic vision, Yuya believed that he would not be able to send troops after weighing the gains and losses. Because with a little calculation, you can know that Hidden Sand Village, which is currently cooperating with Hidden Leaf Village, is the one that can benefit the most. If you don't cooperate with Hidden Leaf Village, can Yangakure Village give Hidden Sand Village what it wants? Can Hidden Stones Village allow them to continue expanding the cultivation of desert peppers? Is there a market for their chili peppers? Impossible. Therefore, the Kingdom of Wind passes. And Wind and Thunder can't move it, so a country of Earth, even if it's just in case, if Anoki, the third-generation Tsuchikage of Hidden Stones Village, really has a brain attack and wants to fight Hidden Leaf Village. Is Hidden Leaf Village afraid? If you are afraid of a hammer, at worst, you will start another large-scale war. Saratobe Hiruzen was convinced by Yuya. In fact, he didn't understand what Yuya was talking about economy, market share, economic substitutability, etc. But it was precisely because he didn't understand that he thought Yuya was powerful. If you understand, then there will be ghosts. However, the things Saratobe Hiruzen discussed with Yuya gave Yuya a wake-up call. Just having these handles is definitely enough in wartime. But what about everyday conflicts? You can't have the ninjas of Hidden Clouds Village throwing a bunch of shogun at your Hidden Leaf Village side and saying that the economy needs to be decoupled from the other side, right? This is impossible. We have to find a way to take care of these villages elsewhere. Yuya thought so and started to write a plan. In the 17th year of Hidden Leaf Village, Yuya wrote a plan. The contents in it accurately depicted the current scene of Hidden Leaf Village. After Yuya's death, these things will be entered into the Museum of Past Hokages. Place it for people to visit. Well, this museum is actually not built yet and will have to wait until later. In a nutshell, the detailed content of the plan written by Yu Yaxin is to increase cooperation with Lei, Feng, and Tu, and then let them use their resources in exchange for Hidden Leaf Village's money. Although everyone's unit is 2, my Hidden Leaf Village banknotes, 2, are worth more than yours. This is the first step, and the second step is to use Hidden Leaf Village's banknotes to buy gold from these countries. Don't get me wrong, these golden swimmers are not used for training. When most of the gold in the entire ninja world is in Hidden Leaf Village. Hidden Leaf Village's banknotes are bound to gold. As for what if someone sees that Yuya's gold standard operation is not cooperative? It's very simple. If you are not willing to use your resources in exchange for our money, then forget it and everyone will stop cooperating. I will not build a factory with you, nor will I do business with you. Anyway, other countries will definitely be willing to do business with us. Besides, it's also for your own good that I ask you to exchange resources with us for our money. You can't let us barter resources with each other, can you? How primitive this trading method is. What? You said you want to exchange your currency with me for mine? No, what can your currency buy? What can my currency buy? Can this be the same? I have a gramophone and an electric fan here, and the radio station has developed one right away. Do you have this? No. Without that, what else can we say? Just use resources in exchange for code. It's not like we won't pay you. And when gold, the hard currency, flowed into Hidden Leaf Village, the gold standard was formed. At that time, Yuya can play higher level operations. Of course, you can't play these until you have enough gold in the future. Now, let's kill the so-called grass shadow in the country of grass first. You can go to Abbey to search for where the gold in America's gold standard comes from. It will refresh your perspective. Chapter 112. After Yuya summoned the old patriarch of the Hyuga clan, he returned and began to gather the clan members. At the time, there wasn't much of an age difference between the young ones. Hinata and Hisashi were both 4 years old. The two brothers watched their father and uncles being called together, all the while wishing their father would leave quickly so they could head to the amusement park. Before leaving, the old patriarch of the Hyuga clan looked at the brothers, Hyuga Hisashi and Hisashi Hyuga, and issued his final instructions. That night, after Hisashi drank water that contained a mild sleeping agent, He was taken to a secret location within the Hyuga clan. Hokage office Uaya sighed after listening to Uchiha's report. Did the Hyuga clan still practice such archaic traditions? For someone like Uaya, with a modern mindset, the concept of the caged bird seal was absurd. It was supposedly meant to protect the clan's Byakugan, but in reality, others managed to steal or even transplant it. Although the thief was from Hidden Mist Village, the principles were the same. The caged bird seal didn't serve its intended purpose. Moreover, it fostered negative psychological effects among the branch family members, who were subject to the main family's control over their lives. Uaya was skeptical of human nature, believing in its inherent evil. He admired Hashirama Senju for his single-minded dedication to ending war, but even Senju Tobirama, in Uaya's eyes, represented the darker aspects of human nature. Uaya didn't trust others easily and believed in exchanging benefits rather than seeking help, which he saw as a sign of weakness. But when it came to the Hyuga clan, Uaya was at a loss. He couldn't just approach the old patriarch and offer benefits in exchange for abolishing the caged bird seal. The patriarch would dismiss him outright. Alright, don't worry about the Hyuga clan. Let them handle their own affairs. Our next focus will be on the land of grass. Inform me immediately if anything occurs. Yes, replied the shadowed Uchiha mirror. Uaya then turned his attention to a scroll, which contained the monthly evaluation criteria for Jounin under the new reforms. He massaged his temples. These evaluations were tedious, though not particularly difficult. Besides Uaya, who else in Hidden Leaf Village could handle such a responsibility? Well, there was one other person. The next day, Senju Tobirama glared at Uaya, veins bulging on his forehead. I've only been retired for less than 3 months, and look how often you've come to me. Now that you're Hokage, must you always call me over? I'm busy. The research and development of the second-generation chakra cannon has hit a bottleneck. I need more people, and yet you keep summoning me. Do you want Hidden Leaf Village's defensive weapons to be delayed forever? Let me tell you. Uaya listened to Tobirama's tirade with a smirk. It seemed retirement had made Tobirama more vocal. Wasn't it just that Uaya summoned him from the research institute every few days? It was time for some reflection on his past life. Sure, it was a bit much to call on Tobirama so often, but Uaya had no choice. Apart from himself, only the former Hokage Senju Tobirama could competently evaluate the Jounin. Anyone else would likely face backlash from the evaluated Jounin. As for Uaya, he paid their salaries. Who would dare object? Any complaints would dissipate after receiving a hefty year-end bonus. When your boss criticizes your performance but still pays you in full and gives you a bonus, resentment is unlikely. For the sake of an 18-month salary, you nod and agree to work harder. It was somewhat ridiculous for Tobirama to be involved so frequently, but with only Uaya and Tobirama capable of handling the evaluations, there was no other option. Uaya quickly intervened. Uncle, I really need your help this time, and I have a perfect candidate to serve as your assistant so you won't be so busy. Tobirama raised an eyebrow. Oh? Who is it? Without hesitation, Uaya suggested Orochimaru. Among Saratobi Hiruzen's 3 students, Jiraiya is a pervert, Tsunade is better left unmentioned, but Orochimaru is exceptional. Oh? Tobirama's interest was piqued. Is his ninjutsu strong? Uaya replied, well, I'm not sure about that, but he does enjoy developing unusual ninjutsu. Tobirama nodded, understanding. He had once been fascinated by unusual ninjutsu himself until the battlefield shifted his focus to creating techniques that could efficiently defeat Uchiha opponents. With Tobirama's help, Uaya completed the evaluation of hundreds of Jounin in a week. Meanwhile, the Hyuga clan brought 10 Jounin from their own ranks, 10 Jounin specially approved by Uaya, and a scientific team member to teach them how to use and energize the chakra cannon. They were accompanied by hundreds of other Chunin and Jounin, along with 10 chakra cannons. The self-proclaimed Kusakage of the Land of Grass laughed at Hidden Leaf Village's configuration. His village had fewer Jounin but thousands of Chunin and Geinin. He believed he could win by sheer numbers. As the two sides engaged, Kusakage's village quickly crumbled. This was the first time the so-called Kusakage had seen a chakra cannon. Uaya had only invited the other 4 Kage countries before. What was Kusakage village compared to them? The chakra cannon was a formidable weapon, transported in pieces and sealed in scrolls. Once assembled, it was immobile and couldn't be resealed. It wasn't typically used offensively, except against smaller nations. The 4 major countries had strategic depth, but the small land of grass did not. Hidden Leaf Village could set up the cannon hundreds of miles away and bombard Kusakage Village. Many could flee, but the village would not survive. With 10 cannons firing simultaneously, the village was obliterated. It was a small ninja village, with a civilian population of only tens of thousands, most of whom perished in the assault. But Uia was not concerned. He wasn't a saint, and the reckless Kusakage had provoked him. The people of the land of grass would pay the price. Hidden Leaf Village's Jounin didn't pursue the fleeing ninjas. Their target, as tracked by Huga's Byakugan, was Kusakage. Uia's explicit order was to capture him alive. After capturing Kusakage, they dismantled the chakra cannon and returned. Though the lines needed reactivation, the cannon was still functional. Hidden Leaf Village wasn't yet affluent enough to casually discard such weapons. After Hidden Leaf Village's departure, spies from the other 4 countries surveyed the battlefield. The chakra cannon's power was undeniable, and Kusakage Village was beyond repair. The captured Kusakage was terrified and confessed immediately. He claimed Hidden Stones Village had coerced him into attacking Hidden Leaf Village's caravan. Uia summoned a Hidden Stones Village representative in Hidden Leaf Village and inquired with a smile about the accusation. The representative was appalled. Impossible. It wasn't us. We didn't do it. That Kusakage must be lying. Chapter 113. Uia laughed and comforted the representative of Hidden Stones Village, saying, "Hey, this matter is so significant, how can you, a representative stationed in Hidden Leaf Village, speak for Hidden Stones Village? You should report to the Sushi Kage first." Thus, the 3rd Sushi Kage, Anoki, was annoyed. This is slander. This is absolutely slander. One of his advisors suggested a possibility. Is it possible that the families of Hidden Stones Village acted without informing you? Anoki frowned. Damn, those bastards might have actually done it. In essence, the Kages of the 5 nations, wind, fire, earth, thunder, and water, and the families within their villages are both interdependent and contradictory. There are countless examples of families acting without the Kage's consent. In Hidden Stones Village, the families in Hidden Clouds Village hoarded supplies against the 3rd Dry Kage's wishes, nearly destroying Hidden Clouds Village's economy. In Hidden Mist Village, some families traded privately with Hidden Leaf Village, and when the 2nd Mizukage saw the business potential, he profited greatly, only to have the 3rd Mizukage eventually take over due to the 2nd's reputation. The 2nd Mizukage was indeed unfortunate. In the Wind Country, families pressured the 2nd Kazekage to stop focusing on barren lands and instead grow peppers. In Hidden Leaf Village, they competed with Uia for the Hokage position before. Which village doesn't have families causing trouble? If they don't, it's likely because the family is too small. Anoki knew this, but as the Sushi Kage, even if the families in his village contacted Hidden Grass Village without his consent, he would have to clean up the mess. Who else but the Sushi Kage? Therefore, Anoki traveled to Hidden Leaf Village in April of the 26th year of Hidden Leaf Village. Upon arrival, he found Uia and wanted to clarify matters. Uia, however, was in no hurry. He took Anoki, who was still in his 30s, on a tour of Hidden Leaf Village, occasionally offering insights to help him understand things more clearly. Anoki was puzzled. What was Uia, the newly appointed 3rd Hokage, trying to achieve? To be honest, when Anoki learned that Uia had bombarded Hidden Grass Village, he thought this new guy was another Senjudobi Rama. But now, being shown around Hidden Leaf Village, Anoki was truly confused. What was happening? Why show him these things? Was it a show-off? Was Uia mentally unbalanced? Why care about showing off? Uia didn't hesitate. After visiting the power plant and showing Anoki the lights and wires in Hidden Leaf Village, he smiled and asked if Anoki wanted electricity in Hidden Rock Village. Anoki was stunned and swallowed his saliva, wondering if it was truly possible. Uia smiled and assured him that Hidden Leaf Village would build a power plant in Hidden Stones Village, but the annual profits would belong to Hidden Leaf Village, with Hidden Stones Village not sharing in them. Anoki began to calculate the gains and losses. Ultimately, he decided he couldn't know without a sample, but if he wanted the people of Hidden Stones Village to use electricity, then he had to seize this cooperation with Hidden Leaf Village. Anoki pondered and finally looked at Uia with doubt. Hidden Leaf Village. Is truly willing to cooperate with us? Uia laughed. Of course, I guarantee I won't cheat anyone. Anoki thought for a long time before deciding to give an answer the next day. Uia nodded in agreement, unfazed. So, while Anoki originally came to talk to Hidden Leaf Village about Hidden Grass Village, Uia never brought it up. Since Uia didn't ask, neither did Anoki. Anoki returned to the state guest house. Compared to previous years, it now had more amenities. Besides the phonograph, there was also a large radio, about the size of a general 20-inch TV. This radio couldn't yet access many channels, it was more for testing purposes. It was expected to be fully operational in the second half of the year. Anoki spent the night at the state guest house, discussing details with his staff. The next day, Anoki came to the conference room in the Hokage's office building and told Uia that a power plant could be built, but not in Hidden Stones Village. As for where to build it, wasn't there a recently vacated space? Uaya smiled at Anoki's caution but didn't mind. He agreed to Anoki's condition: the power plant would be built in the land of grass. Anoki suggested a second condition: while Hidden Stones Village wouldn't have the plant's profits, they should receive its tax revenue. Uaya sat up straight and started bargaining. This power plant is in the land of grass, and we're building it. You, Hidden Stones Village, are not contributing, yet you want to collect taxes? That's unreasonable. Anoki proposed providing resources needed for power generation, with the power plant paying the corresponding price. Uaya smiled and accepted this condition. For the final condition, Anoki insisted the contract last only 3 years. Uaya held back laughter and agreed. When Anoki left Hidden Leaf Village with his men, Uaya couldn't help but laugh out loud. Anoki thought he was clever, but Uaya's goal was never the power plant. Frankly, giving the plant to Hidden Stones Village would be fine. The radio frequency band was effective in trials, and the next step was a rollout. Uaya didn't plan to roll out the radio to Hidden Stones Village but would extend TV and signals there. Imagine future TVs in Hidden Stones Village broadcasting Hidden Leaf Village programs. What an easy way to influence the next generation of Hidden Stones Village. If other villages agreed, Uaya wouldn't mind helping build power plants there too. By then, everyone would watch Hidden Leaf Village TV and listen to Hidden Leaf Village songs. Sometimes Uaya felt like he was bullying a child. Well, Anoki and his people weren't stupid, they just had no precedent. Anoki's 3-year contract was a precaution. But often, renewing isn't up to your personal will. Will Hidden Stones Village residents accustomed to electricity let Anoki and Hidden Leaf Village break the contract? Impossible. As for Kusikage of Hidden Grass Village, Uaya waved it off, telling him to dig potatoes. Kusikage was puzzled, wondering if Hidden Leaf Village admitted defeat to Hidden Stones Village. Uaya ignored him, considering him clueless. It's normal for big countries to clash. Hidden Stones Village asked you to attack Hidden Leaf Village's caravan, and you did? Is Hidden Stones Village your boss? You're the one who attacked and betrayed Hidden Stones Village. If Hidden Leaf Village lets you off, Hidden Stones Village won't. If Hidden Leaf Village weren't so short on people, Uaya would have shown the shock of being cut in half. But now, Hidden Leaf Village needs even a piece of toilet paper, let alone a living person. He'd be useful for labor. As for the Hyuga clan's potential objections, Uaya decimated Hidden Grass Village. What objections could they have? Even the old Hyuga patriarch thanked Uaya, saying the clan hadn't been this happy in years. A whole country destroyed over the death of a Hyuga branch member, truly grateful to the third Hokage. Uaya pretended indifference to the Hyuga family. After exchanging pleasantries, the old patriarch asked about plans for the destroyed Hidden Grass Village. Uaya sneered internally at the patriarch's intentions. Uaya said the Hidden Grass Village people were suffering, lacking food and clothing. He'd signed a cooperation contract with Hidden Stones Village to rebuild Hidden Grass Village and improve their lives, so the patriarch needn't worry. The patriarch turned green, realizing Uaya's overt and covert warnings. The old Hyuga patriarch could only smile, saying the Hyuga clan wouldn't interfere, before retreating to silence. Uaya curled his lips. These guys always want a piece of the action. Hidden Grass Village's location is too strategic to give the Hyuga clan. It should be directly governed. Of course, it's fine to help the Land of Grass's people besides direct governance, right? What? You bombarded before? I didn't. I bombarded Grass's ninjas. Ask the dead if you don't believe me. Once Hidden Leaf Village and Hidden Stones Village's cooperation became public, the Land of Grass approved strongly. It was simple: Grass was gone, and its people feared division by Hidden Leaf Village and Hidden Stones Village. Now, both announced factory construction in Grass, averting extinction. The people of Grass were, of course, happy. Uaya also started a propaganda campaign, telling Hidden Leaf Village's people that although Grass provoked Hidden Leaf Village retaliated. Now, ordinary Grass people were starving, and Hidden Leaf Village had to help. As for building a factory in Grass, Uaya promoted it as providing jobs. Hidden Leaf Village declared it would build factories in Grass and hire locals. With this announcement, Hidden Leaf Village's people saw Uaya as kind-hearted. Grass provoked Hidden Leaf Village, yet the third Hokage repaid with kindness, truly touching, bringing tears. As for Uaya's statement, Hidden Stones Village and the other 3 nations sneered at his kindness. Flattened Hidden Grass Village? It's easier to rebuild post-disaster. But these were just complaints, and they had to agree outwardly. After all, Hidden Leaf Village was their largest trading partner, and making money wasn't bad. This Hidden Grass Village conflict ended with Grass becoming a joint jurisdiction of Hidden Leaf Village and Hidden Stones Village. For Hidden Leaf Village and Hidden Stones Village, it was insignificant. However, for small countries like Rain, River, and Bear, it was a shock. They saw a small country's demise, so sudden, simple, and sloppy. Grass still existed, But Hidden Leaf Village and Hidden Stones Village didn't intend to annex it. It was a buffer zone and back garden left by both sides. At this time, Hidden Leaf Village's Chakra cannon launched. Other countries could see this war weapon clearly. In response, the third Raikage angrily smashed his table. He roared, "He is kind? He is peaceful? That bastard third Hokage created this war weapon, and you call him kind?" This statement was later unverifiable, and he denied it publicly. The third Raikage looked at the mess in his village and a Hidden Leaf Village Hidden Stones Village cooperation report, holding back his urge to smash the table. He was Raikage and had to be responsible for his village. Though displeased, he packed his luggage, preparing to go to Hidden Leaf Village with his men. Why? To discuss cooperation. Otherwise, would he kill the hypocritical third Hokage? It was the third Sushi Kage Inoki's fault for personally negotiating in Hidden Leaf Village. Sending a representative seemed unserious. The power plant was too important. Confirming Hidden Leaf Village's cooperation intent required a visit. In response, Uaya happily arranged a ceremonial guard to welcome the other Kages. Yes, other Kages. Hidden Leaf Village selling the power plant drew Kaze Kage and Mizukage to Hidden Leaf Village with their men. Uaya happily accepted all orders and met the three Kages in the conference room. At the meeting, the third Raikage slammed the table, insisting Hidden Clouds Village receive all power plant profits, or they wouldn't cooperate. Uaya internally dismissed it but argued outwardly, questioning Raikage's objection when no one else had objections. Then Kaze Kage agreed to profits but demanded taxes, citing Sand Village's scarce resources and limited contribution. Uaya considered and agreed. The third Raikage was dissatisfied, questioning Uaya's bias against Hidden Clouds Village. Uaya rolled his eyes, offering profits if Raikage provided all necessary resources, copper, iron, coal, for the power plant. The third Raikage agreed, as resources weren't lacking in the Land of Thunder. Only the third Mizukage remained. His request made Uaya narrow his eyes. Third Hokage, for Hidden Mist Village's power plant, I don't need you to pay taxes. I only want a share of the profits, distributed by me. The third Mizukage's request made Uaya, Kaze Kage, and Raikage focus on him. The request implied Hidden Mist Village's Mizukage family conflict was nearing a breaking point.